get messages that Jerry's best friend, Cat Matlala, is the one who's involved.
Vusi Cat Matlala had a 360 million rand contract with the police.
About that. Dr. Berger, thank you so much for your time. What can you tell us? What do you know of this infamous character, Vusi Cat Matlala? Yeah, thank you. I think, you summed that up quite well. I think he is a shady character. I mean, he's involved in multi-million contracts with the police.
South Africa is not short of villains, but the most dangerous criminals are the ones whose names are missing from headlines, because they've made sure of it. Not through innocence, but through influence. This is the story of Vusi Cat Matlala, a man who built his empire not with innovation or leadership, but through the calculated use of fear, violence, and a mastery of loopholes in a system designed to protect the powerful. His name doesn't appear on company letterheads. He doesn't give TED Talks. He doesn't run for office. And yet, his shadow hangs over government contracts worth hundreds of millions. His fingerprints, though wiped clean, are all over some of the most brazen, unresolved crimes in modern South African procurement history. Vusi Matlala was born in Manamal, Limpopo. Not much is known about his upbringing, only that he was quiet, clever, and deeply observant. He didn't finish high school, but by 2007, he had quietly reinvented himself in Gauteng as a supply chain consultant, operating through generic-sounding companies like Macdotso Global Solutions, K2020864723 South Africa, Thai, Ltd, and Kala Forward Logistics. None of these companies existed publicly. No websites, no office marks, just mailbox addresses, proxy directors, and a legal team that could file 5 different tender applications by lunch. His breakthrough came around 2010 when he began securing SAPS contracts through emergency procurement. Channels that bypass public scrutiny in the name of urgency. Riot gear, police boots, bulletproof vests, transport contracts. Matlala's companies delivered them all on paper, but not in reality. Asterisk audits were stonewalled. Equipment was never verified. In several instances, SAPS warehouses listed deliveries as incomplete, only for internal pressure to change those entries to delivered in full days later. No one could stop him, because by then, Matlala was no longer just a supplier. He was a problem you paid to go away. Procurement officials who refused to play along started disappearing, either physically or professionally. Their posts became vacant. Their signatures were forged. Their families received unexpected payouts. In quiet settlements. In 2018, a mid-level SAPS finance analyst submitted a whistleblower report regarding a R32 million contract awarded to a company Matlala was linked to. The contract was to supply rural satellite command units, temporary trailers kitted out as mobile SAPS offices. Not a single unit was delivered. That analyst, 36-year-old Kabalo M., vanished 2 weeks after submitting the report. His body was discovered in a field outside Rustenburg, burnt beyond recognition. The death was ruled a suicide, despite no forensic consistency. The report? Buried. The contract? Quietly renewed under a new company name. By 2020, Matlala was untouchable. Whispers of a personal enforcement unit began circulating. Former security officers, rogue SAPS members, ex-soldiers. He didn't need lawyers anymore. He had soldiers in plain clothes, armed not just with guns, but with legal power, political cover, and blackmail. But the world only caught a glimpse of what he was capable of when the kidnapping happened. In February 2024, a wealthy businessman was abducted outside his home in Wirekloof Ridge, Pretoria, in what experts later described as a military-grade operation. No shouting, no mistakes. The entire grab lasted under 2 minutes. Asterisk, the ransom demand arrived 6 hours later. 10 million rands. In cash, in 48 hours. Or he dies. One line chilled everyone. Tell the cat I'm hungry again. The message was both a demand and a warning. Sources close to the family say they tried to involve police, but were advised by someone in the system to pay quietly. The man returned alive, with no visible injuries, but he refused to speak. To the media, to his lawyers, to anyone. The message had been delivered loud and clear. Our team traced burner phones used in the ransom to 2 key locations. A secluded lodge outside Bronkhorst Brute, purchased under a company linked to Matlala, a 14-hectare farm near Mokgofong, Limpopo, previously red-flagged in an CU report as a possible torture site during the another unsolved kidnapping drone footage shows. Guard towers, barbed wire, watchdogs, no crops, no staff. The case was closed before it was opened. The investigating officer was removed within 24 hours. A substitute was assigned, then placed on indefinite leave. The file was sealed due to security concerns. A week later, a whistleblower from the SAPS provincial office went missing. Her phone was found smashed in a trash bin at Hatfield Mall. She had been scheduled to speak to journalists the next day. Matlala, meanwhile, kept moving forward. In April 2024, he secured a R57 million tender from the Department of Correctional Services for the supply and maintenance of biometric prisoner tracking devices. The project never materialized. The tender documentation was classified. The payment was processed in full. A month later, another 91 million rands contract was awarded to one of his shell companies in a joint venture with a Dubai-registered logistics firm. That company has since been linked to multiple offshore laundering hubs used by politically connected South African elites. Matlala's lifestyle continued to grow bolder. He purchased a new mansion in Midstream Estate with facial recognition gates, panic rooms, armored doors, and underground garages. His vehicles, including a bulletproof BMW X7, Mercedes G63 AMG, and a blacked-out Land Cruiser, are rotated weekly. He travels with 4 guards. 2 are ex-SAPS tactical officers. 1 was dishonorably discharged from SANDF for misuse of classified intelligence. The 4th, unknown. His neighbors describe him as polite, quiet, generous with tips, but always watching. Never smiling. In private circles, he is known as Mr. Fixer. But in street slang used by contractors, he's simply the cat, because he always lands on his feet and always walks away untouched. But the trail of violence around him grows darker each year. A municipal engineer who exposed irregular payments in Limpopo was shot dead in his driveway. His death was recorded as a hijacking, despite the fact that nothing was taken. A female contractor who rejected one of Matlala's demands was attacked in a parking lot in Santon. Acid was thrown in her face. Her case remains open. She now lives under protection, unable to testify. A journalist from Polokwane who began investigating Matlala's political donors was poisoned. She survived, but her newspaper refused to run the story. The editor allegedly received a cease and desist letter from a law firm known to work with certain politicians under state capture investigations. Still, the cat continues to operate, and the silence around him is deafening. In South Africa, corruption usually ends in commissions and headlines. But with Vusi Matlala, there is no trial, no commission, no trending Twitter hashtags. Just fear, because he doesn't work like a criminal. He works like a system. He knows the blind spots. He controls the gatekeepers. And he's already 5 steps ahead before you even learn his name. In a land where justice is too expensive and truth too dangerous, Vusi Cat Matlala is not just a man. He is a mirror. a reflection of what happens when the rule of law is sold to the highest bidder, and the rest of us are told to stay quiet or disappear.